Good evening, sports fans! Sorry about a little mishap there. Annoying little mute button. It's all good. How's it going, everybody? Everybody out there in sports land? I hope you're all enjoying your evenings, getting acclimated to the year 2021, because it is January 15th. In this brand new year, we are a second year of this decade and hoping for a much better one than the last. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sports Couple Perspective, right here on IE Sports Radio, your refuge for all that is sports. I am one of your co-hosts, Larry B. Joined here by my beautiful girlfriend, my future wife, the lovely Cecilia. Good evening, babe.
Hi, everyone.
How y'all doing? We are ready to rock and roll. Tonight, we've got another goodie as we get ready and set for a topic that is about as touchy as politics. Trust me. Tonight, we're gonna get in on if college athletes should be getting paid. Now, that is very touchy. There are so many people that are against this. So many colleges, I wonder why, that are against this. Short and sweet, babe. Any opening comments on that?
Yeah, this topic is very interesting and very aggravating too.
As you can see, some nerves have been stomped on today by my lovely girlfriend, and well, I don't blame her. I had to break it to her and give her the cold, ugly truth of how things really work in the NCAA, and well, we're gonna have a lot of perspective on tonight's show of the Sports Couple Perspective. We'll be talking about that. We will also be getting in to Cecilia's very first college football game on Monday night as Alabama took it to Ohio State. Babe, what about that game?
That was a very interesting game.
How so?
Well, finally being able to understand the game for once. So, yeah, I had a whole new perspective on that.
I am so glad that you did. I mean, we had a fun time watching that game. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to break down every position to her by group. But by the end of the night, I think she got a good understanding.
Yeah, I would like to think I did. I think I can understand a football game somewhat.
She's getting better, y'all. And of course, we'll talk a little bit about a wild card weekend. I'll be recapping the scores briefly and getting into the divisional round starting tomorrow. And with that said, we will also be talking about the movie of the week. Babe, When the Game Stands Tall. We just finished that movie about 10 minutes ago. Babe, your I guess early thoughts on the show of that movie.
I really enjoyed that movie. Very definitely worth the watch.
It was awesome. And I'll tell you right now, one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. And I'm so glad. I got seen for the very first time earlier this year, right before I met Cecilia. And well, here we are today, and we watched it, and we got our podcast. And actually, oh my gosh, I said earlier this year, or last year. I'm still. I thought we were still in December. Just kidding. No, but yeah, I saw it like early 2020, and well, I'm glad today I got to enjoy it with Cecilia here. So. With that said, what's going on, chat room? It's live and bumping. Appreciate y'all for tuning in today, of course, Mr. Taryn Rodriguez. And yeah, I know, we gotta find a new theme, Taryn. Thank you for reminding us 2 weeks in a row.
I know, we totally forgot. It slipped our minds. We've been busy with school and everything like that. So, and I said, oh my gosh. Well, Larry actually pointed it out that we need to find a theme. And yeah, it slipped our minds. Sorry. Hopefully, by next week, we'll have a theme for our show.
Oh, bad. Oh, our bad, y'all. So, with that said, let's do this thing and jump right on in. But by the way, what big ups to, of course, Mr. Marcus Lowe's Gray. What up? No, appreciate you, man, for tuning in, brother. And this is pretty cool. Terrence says here, actually got interviewed if college athletes should get paid and college athletes in general. So, Taryn, I can help you find a theme. That's why I'm here for. Man, freaking Taryn. Taryn's a jack of all trades on IA Sports Radio. Babe, you've been a part of this network now for, well, as long as we've been together, and you've seen Taryn do his work. The guy's pretty talented.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So, big ups to you, Taryn. What's going on? Andrew Hagenball in the chat room, of course, the host of not only, he was on earlier today, of course, with the State of Ohio Sports. I know he wasn't necessarily happy about that Ohio State loss on Monday, but I'm glad he's here. And, of course, he's getting ready to talk about soccer coming up on Sunday. But anyway, with that said, y'all, we are starting things off with the first topic of the night. And this is always a toughie. I'm so glad we could start things off I'm glad we start things off with a topic, because it's hard to hold back. But once again, if you're just tuning in, welcome to the episode 2 of the Sports Couple Perspective, here with me, your boy Larry B, and my beautiful co-host, my lovely, beautiful, wonderful, amazing girlfriend, future wife, the lovely Cecilia. Glad to have her here tonight with me. And we are going to talk some sports in a way that you might haven't heard before. So let's do the dang thing. So first and foremost, we had, Marcus says loss. That was a beatdown. Well, it's a nice way of putting loss. But Cecilia chose her team early in that game, all because of the color.
Yeah, I liked that color red.
Cecilia is a fan of the color red. And she likes different shades of red. Mm-hmm. But that one just happened to catch. I showed her the red home uniform of Ohio State, and she said she liked the Alabama Crimson Tide shade of red more than the Ohio State Scarlet shade of red. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Andrew. But with that said, first topic here of the night, and this is always... Yeah, thanks, Marcus, in the chat room. This is always a toughie. A subject that is such a... My goodness, this is a touchy subject, but should college athletes be getting paid? Of course, there is a long-standing argument of why they shouldn't, which of course is why college athletes don't get paid. And then, of course, we have the argument of, well, what's the deal? Why can't they get paid? So... Cecilia, of course, getting into sports more by the week, which I'm loving it, was very unaware of how the NCAA works. And I just feel that it's a little different in every perspective, but in the Sports Club perspective, have a perspective of, well, you'll see. So... Once again, long-standing argument of what on earth is going on with college athletes and why they can't necessarily get paid. Now, we understand the two perspectives, and we'll go one by one. So, first perspective is why not? Why they haven't gotten paid. And it's very simple. You're getting a 40, sometimes 50, 30, 40, 50, depending on tuition, a year, $1,000 a year education for absolutely free. You're getting room and board, and I'm pretty sure you're getting meal swipes depending on where you are, so you're getting food and all that. But what about the extra expenses? What about if you want to go get a new pair of shoes, or you need some new jeans,
or
if you
just the bare necessities?
Or the bare necessities. Tell them, babe. You need simple little things, right?
Yeah, like shampoo or, body wash or something that you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You need things. Necessities, of course. You need to take care of yourself, of course. You need gas. You need, all these different things to take care of yourself. And unfortunately, those things are just not covered by the university. They're just giving you, of course, the free education, food, and a place to live. Everything else you kind of got to fend for yourself. So, I understand myself for many years. I've understood why college athletes haven't gotten paid. But at the same exact time, I also understand the perspective of an athlete. I also played in the NCAA. It was only Division III, nothing crazy, but still, at the end of the day, it's true, guys. A lot goes into being a student athlete at that level, and you can't necessarily have a full-time job. So, let's open the discussion up and talk as to why, and I was going to do this the other direction, but Cecilia's going to burst at the seams if I do this. She wants to get ready and on the why not pay college athletes, and I'm totally with it. So first things first, babe, let's do this. Give it to us. You were earlier when I was talking to you, we watched, of course, an awesome video that I saw a long time ago, a couple years back. Of course, if you guys have not subscribed to Flemlo Raps, man, Flemlo Raps is a great job on YouTube. I'm a big fan of him. And Carson, of course, KTO, the Oracle. And I'll tell you right now, they do great work. And if you guys want to see this video that we have seen, of course, what happened to the homeless player who was kicked off the team for accepting a place to live by Flemlo Raps. I'll actually put the link in the description of this podcast. You guys got to check it out. Amazing, touching story. It is the story of course, Silas Nikita, I don't know butcher his name, but amazing story. This young man went through so much crap. The guy that got thrown out of Baylor, it's so much crap he had to go through, all because of receiving quote-unquote illegal benefits. The man was given money for an apartment, for a place to stay, because the university wasn't doing much for him. So, it's just a toughie. So, you can't seem to do much. So, when it comes down to it, these college athletes, I believe that they're entitled to some type of money. So we saw that video, then we saw a discussion of this, we saw another YouTube video, of course. This was Crossfire, should college athletes be paid? And this was courtesy of CNN on, the CNN YouTube. So you can catch that there. So 6 years ago, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was on there. We saw about half of the video. Newt Gingrich was on there as well. But with that said, that's the introduction. Sorry, I know I just went super long. But now I'm just going to open the floor here. Babe, tell us all about why you wholeheartedly believe college athletes should be getting paid after seeing all that today.
I feel like they should get paid because seeing all that, they basically screw the college students over, and it's not fair, but no one ever said life is fair. But, they work so hard to get to their school, and I don't know, and just to be on their team, and they help them, make a name for that college. They should at least get something for it. They work just as hard. It's a full-time job. They don't have time to find another job outside of the school, and apparently it seems like if they do, they get in trouble for every little thing that they do. So it's just they should offer them something, at least minimum wage or something, since they make a whole bunch of money off of them. At least that's how I feel.
I couldn't agree more, babe. The big thing is, and that's exactly what we're talking about earlier today, is how much money do these freaking schools make off of these college athletes? It's a good amount of money. You are getting charged season ticket prices for professional sports are up there. You're getting charged these ticket prices. Okay, you're getting charged parking. You're getting charged for all of these things to enjoy these athletics. What about the TV deals? Fox, ABC, CBS. I don't know if CBS has a college football deal, but maybe they do. But I know I see college football there on there on Saturday mornings during the season. But still, it's really annoying because it's hard to believe that college athletes don't make any money and how much they put forth to make that university money. Now, I get it. Not every education is the same amount of money. I get it. Not every bit of revenue is put in the pockets of those who run the school. I understand all different types of perspective. And earlier, it was funny because I gave Cecilia all of these. We watched the Flemlo Raps video on Silas Nikita. We watched that Crossfire video a little bit. And then I broke it down to Cecilia all about how and why colleges do this. And what amount of trouble you can get into if you do receive illegal benefits. Or quote-unquote illegal benefits. And going to the Flemlo video, when we were watching it earlier, babe, how disheartening was it for you to see that Silas Nikita, after going through all the crap he went through, building himself up, working... The man slept in a ditch. He hitchhiked 2 times across the United States. All of these things. He didn't even have a scholarship. He was on the team, working hard. He didn't even have a gym, so he worked out at a park with everything he could work out. The man was incredible. Then he plays for Baylor, plays in the Big Ten championship game, has, I think, 30 carries, guys, 191 yards, and only 30 carries. He had 3 touchdowns. I mean, for all of that, and then like very next day or soon, they tell him, hey, I think, and once again, guys, you got to watch Flemlo Rap's video, but his coach tells him the very next day, or whoever it was that broke the news to him, that, we got good news and bad news. The good news is you didn't lose us the Big Ten championship. Well, why? Or sorry, the Big 12. I'm sorry, Big 10. Sorry, the Big 12 championship. You didn't lose us that game because apparently they didn't get like cracked down on because of him playing and he was an illegal player or whatever, or penalized. But the bad news is you're not playing college football ever again because basically the NCAA just pulled a rug from underneath you because a man that he knew from back home in Bakersfield, California, gave him money to get him an apartment because he was homeless. Babe, how disheartening was that video to you?
That was horrible. It was sad and just disgusting how they treated him. He worked hard for where he wanted to be, and on top of it, they didn't even give him a scholarship, and then they say that it's an unfair advantage just because someone helped him, and he didn't even ask for the help. Someone just wanted to help him. Like, how are they going to take that away from him? I don't even understand how that's an unfair advantage. It's not making him a better football player or anything like that. So, and it's not like he's taking drugs. So I really don't understand how they could do that to someone who's a good player and, worked very hard to where he wanted to be.
I completely agree. How terrible was that, How terrible to think of. This young man did all he could to become a part of this team, and unfortunately, just because he was given money to have an apartment because someone cares about you, now the NCAA just can't see that, and if you're helping an athlete that's homeless, now they're penalized because they can't receive quote-unquote illegal benefits. Earlier today, and they want you to try and re-say this as best as you can, as you did earlier today, but she had mentioned something earlier about now she can see, and then people complain of not too many acts of kindness nowadays or something like that.
Oh, what I was trying to say was that, like, they wonder, maybe not the sports world personally, but part of that world, but everyone in general, they wonder what happened to everyone being so kind to one another and doing the acts of kindness. But it seems like, unfortunately, you are willing to or wanting to help someone, but yet you get penalized and the person gets even more penalized. And it's just like, what's the point? Then they wonder why our world is just so horrible because, people are willing to help and do those kind of things, but they turn away because they're like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble or get that other person in trouble.
And that's terrible.
And it's sad.
It is. It's very sad. And as Flemlo described in his video, his the man who gave him the money felt horrible after he got thrown off. After he saw that the money, all he did was give him money for an apartment. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, apparently that money just ruined his whole football career in college. I mean, how would you feel, babe, if you wanted to help, let's say, a young lady out in college, and you saw she was struggling, and you were like, no, I want to be able to help out, and then the very next day, she texts you or calls you and says, hey, thank you so much for all the help, but apparently because of that help, now I'm thrown off the team and I can no longer play college soccer or volleyball or whatever it is, softball or whatever she's playing. How would you feel personally?
I would feel horrible. I mean, in that moment, I'd probably feel good, but then horrible because I feel like I did have something to do with getting her kicked off the team, but I feel like that's really stupid, and I think it's really selfish of what do you call that again? The N double something. I can't remember their name. To me, they're not worth remembering because they're horrible. I hate them. And hate is such a strong word, but oh my gosh, like, they should really treat their students better.
She is, of course, referring to the NCAA, which she has been all day long. The WNC, whatever you call it, like, she does not care. Cecilia gives no Fs at the moment right now. She is not happy with the NCAA, and she's personally very, very frustrated, as I think a lot of us need to be very frustrated, because it's wrong. Honestly, it's wrong, and that's how I feel too. If I would do that with a young man somewhere out there, or anybody, or, Cecilia and I one day were to try and help out a young man or a young lady just because they're struggling, and out of the kindness of our hearts, we're trying to help them out in a situation to where they can make something better of their lives or keep playing their sport, and out of nowhere, they're penalized because we're trying to help them? That to me that's the most horrible thing. That's terrible. I mean, it's not the most horrible thing, but my gosh, that's amongst some of the most horrible things. How?
Well, no, because it can be kind of terrible to someone who loves a certain sport, and that's all they've known, especially if they've been doing it since they were a kid, so.
Oh, you're right. And for Silas Nikita, unfortunately, he just, he got the crappy end of that bargain,
But he ended up better off, though, in a way. He ended up in Germany and playing football over there, so, I mean, I think he ended up well off, better than what he probably would have ended up here.
No, he did. He definitely did. So there is a happy end to that story. Once again, this is going to be in the link in the description. But Flemlo Raps, y'all, amazing videos, and this video was made 2 years ago, so go check it out. But yeah, he hit it on the head at the end, talking about the resilience, how that video could have ended like 4 times before they actually did end. The story could have ended, but he was so resilient. He kept up, and he ended up going to the German league, the German football league, and he's playing over there. I don't know if he's still over there, but he got to play over there, and he was playing over there professionally and playing good football. Mm-hmm. And you know what? At the end of the day, like Cecilia said after we watched that video, she says, you know what? No matter what, for that young man, that was a victory.
Yeah, I feel like he still made it big.
And I'm right there with him. So let's get to the comments real quick in the chat room and take a look. USC's red trumps all college red, and even though it's Cardinal, end of discussion. Even though it's Cardinal, absolutely, fight on USC. So let's take a look here. We got some more comments here. Taryn says, if someone buys an athlete fries and a Big Mac from McDonald's, the NCAA comes down on that athlete. It's ridiculous. Babe.
Wait, what?
What Taryn's comment. So remember that video? Because we also saw a spoof video earlier, and it was pretty funny. But it was I'll put that link in the description below. But it was by T Pindell, I believe, or I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's T. On YouTube, TPINDELL, and it's a day in the life parody. It's about that video that so many professional athletes blew up about because they were like, that's not the day in the life. And me being a former college athlete myself, that's not the day in the life by far. But it's a funny video, but at the very end, it shows a college athlete like digging through the McDonald's trash can, and he's like talking about, I'm so hungry, and then the guy's like, oh hey guys, I'm on McNuggets, and then he hands him his McNuggets, and then out of nowhere, somebody from the NCAA is like, oh, we're sorry, you're now throwing out the NCAA. And then the guy that gave him the nuggets is like, oh, but got another one, like they planned it. And he's like, oh, no, they got me, or whatever it was. I mean, it's kind of funny to look at it like that, like just to see it. But if you think about it, that's not funny at all.
No, when you know the real meaning behind it all.
Yeah,
I think it's really dumb.
It's true.
It's wrong.
It's true.
It's just like these students are trying to get by with like hardly anything. And it's just like, why take everything away from them?
It's really sad. It's very sad. So I completely agree. How? Really? You buy an athlete a meal and now they're in jeopardy of losing the rest of their college career? This is literally ridiculous.
And then even on top of that, if they get injured, it's just like, if they can't go back to the game, then it's just like, you're done, bye. And they get left with the bills.
Oh, yeah.
The medical bills. I think that's even more messed up, too.
I was explaining to Cecilia earlier that, yeah, guys, so that's what some schools will be cool with it and everything, but if you're not able to perform, they're done with you, and it's on to the next, and oh, so sorry, too bad, so sad, there goes your full ride, and you take those bills, by the way, you got hurt. So it's like, what do you do? These are 18 to 20, sometimes 21, 22-year-old kids. And I will say kid, because my goodness, for anybody who thinks you're an adult at 18, unless you were raised very tough, being an adult, I mean, depending on what you feel an adult is, I mean, it's hard, definitely, to consider yourself even grown at that point, alright, even an adult at that point in time, but you're asking these kids to be their best, to not slip up and not say words and to not be kids, and I get it, you have to be professional, you gotta do this and you gotta do that, and I understand that, carry the team strong, make everybody look good, I understand all of those things, and I completely agree, there's some things that are taking it too far, and you need to be punished for, I understand that, but you're asking these kids all of these things, to carry the university's name correctly, to carry yourself correctly. Okay, that's easy. That's fine. Oh, and by the way, nobody can help you. Okay? I don't know if their parents can, maybe they can, but yeah, nobody can help you if they want to help you because you might need gas money or, you run out of meal swipes or whatever. I mean, I don't know how that goes with certain universities, the meal swipes and the food and everything, but yeah, guess what? You can only, we're going to pay for your school, and we're going to pay for your tuition, of course, and then we're going to give you a place to stay. But really, that's it. And as Cecilia was saying earlier, what about all your toiletries? What about your necessities, the things that you need? Really, guys? Really? I mean, we were even talking earlier, and I don't want to get too graphic here, but what about the young ladies?
Yeah, exactly. They need women's stuff that men don't use, but still, I mean, that's important, and it's not like we can control that. So, yeah. Yeah,
you can't just tell the baby-making station to stop working for 4 years because you can't afford those things. You can't do that, guys. And to me, I just feel like it's ridiculous.
And sometimes your family can't help you, unfortunately. So it's just like, they need a job. So, and if they're making these students, work every single day to be on the sport, and obviously the students want to be there too, because if they didn't, then they wouldn't be playing there. But, I mean, they should give them something. They deserve it. They work hard. And, yeah, I mean, especially if they, everybody needs the bare necessities. Whether you're male or female, you need something. So they should at least consider. I mean, these schools make a lot of money off of everyone anyway, whether you're a athlete or not. They can afford it. They act like they can't, but those schools make a lot of money.
Well, we're going to talk some numbers in a little bit. It's nothing crazy because we did some math earlier and it's not 100% on point, but I'm just saying we're going to talk a little bit about how we think colleges can actually really afford this. But let's take a look here back at the comments in the chat room. So thank you for everybody tuning in tonight. Once, of course, Taryn, Andrew, and Marcus. Appreciate all you all out there. And for anybody who's just listening and not typing in the chat room, that's all good. Enjoy for your listening pleasure. And of course, for anybody listening to the podcast after the show is over, we thank you for tuning in tonight. But Andrew Hagenball says here, being a college soccer player, it was 2-a-days study hall with the whole team and so much more. Little to no time to sleep, eat, or breathe. It was like a full-time job, and I agree.
Exactly.
I agree. Let's break down a week in college football, and this is just junior college, guys. Let's just break this down. When I played at RCC, and of course, Laverne was very similar to this. But this is a typical week, okay? Sunday, thank God we got off, because we were beaten down and battered from the game, and well, guess what? You kind of had to, recuperate. Throw some ice on you and recuperate. Monday, get up in the morning, go to class, usually 7 or 8 a.m. classes. okay, because you want to get there as early as you can. Well, usually you get priority regs, but, you get there, you get the classes you need, because sometimes did you know that, babe? Did you know that sometimes, the school just offers the one class that you need at like 7 or 8 in the morning, and that's the only, it's like the only class you need, and you need it to need that class to graduate, and it's like, you don't have a 10 o'clock? Nope. Serious? So, it's what it is, but you get up, go to that class. After that, you go to another class. Then you go hang out for a little bit with your teammates. Maybe go to the caf and eat for a little bit, or see what you can get. Then go to the library for a little bit, study, okay?
Or take a nap.
Well, yeah, no, usually go to the library and study, watch YouTube videos, and do homework, okay? And then before practice, well, actually, no, Mondays we had film and lifting. So then at 1 o'clock, after all that morning, of course, eating and trying to get everything in and do some homework and all that, you have to run down to film room, okay? Defense watched film first, offense lifted and went on the field and ran, and then did core after that. We do that for an hour apiece. Then we'd swamp. Then offense would come and watch film. Then we, the defense, would go and lift and do our sprints and do our field work and do our core work. And after that, we'd go to the locker room, get dressed, on the field for practice in full pads. We were on the field from 3:15 to almost about 6 o'clock. After that, put all your clothes up, wash them, throw them in the laundry chute. Then go to the trainer, walk out with bags of ice. I was looking like a dang igloo walking out of there sometimes, okay? Because ice all over the place, okay? Walk to your car. It takes about 20 minutes, it feels like, because you feel like an old person, okay? Walk into your car, get in your car, try to fall asleep when you sit in the car, okay? Because that's the first relaxing seat you sat in all day long. You take a seat. Then you get in your car and you drive home. You're like, oh my gosh, I just want to go to sleep. Then you get home and you eat everything in the house, okay? Because you're starving. Because maybe you didn't have enough time to eat. Maybe you didn't. Then, after that, you try to fall asleep while you're doing your homework, if you even get your homework done at all. Because guess what? You gotta wake up tomorrow again at 6 or 7 to go to another freaking class. Then, it was the usual. And by the way, full pads was only shells on Monday for us, just helmets and shoulder pads. But then Tuesday, of course, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, all full-on days, guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all full-on days. We get up you get there, your classes, morning, get something to eat if you can. Afternoon, we had a little bit longer to sleep sometimes. We didn't have film or lifting on Tuesday through Thursday. So you go and you lay down in your car, put the seat back, and I love to park on the bottom floor of the structure because it's nice and dark in there. A lot of the athletes did, and just fall asleep in there.
Probably cooler too.
It was cooler. It felt nice. And then guess what? Before you know it, it feels like you just close your eyes and the gosh dang alarm you put on your phone rings, and you're like, oh no. So there you go, dragging yourself to the. All right, it's Tuesday. It's not bad. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, 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 boom. All over.
It's all very gruesome. Very what's the word I'm looking for? Dang it.
Treacherous.
Yeah.
It's nasty. It was.
A lot of wear and tear. There you go.
A lot of wear
on
and
the
tear.
body and mind, basically.
It sure is. Another 3 hours of that, then you come home, same deal. Repeat that for 3 more days, Tuesday through Friday. Sorry, through Tuesday through Thursday. And then repeat Monday on Friday. Except for Monday you didn't have classes usually. You only had maybe one class. But even then, you still had the practice. We had a walkthrough usually. But, it was nice to have the walkthrough. But still, we had just all that schoolwork. It's like, what do you mean, coach? Hey, go get some rest. What do you mean rest? I have like 14 assignments due that I couldn't even get to this last past week. Well, make it work. I mean, that's it. And then it's it. You go play the game on Saturday. You beat yourself down. Sometimes you gotta travel far away. Sometimes you didn't even get home. When we played Long Beach, man, we didn't even get home until like freaking almost 1 a.m. That drive on the bus.
Did you work through all of that?
No work.
See?
And guys, let me tell you something. That was junior college. And let me tell you something. There's no scholarship. There's no room and board. Nothing. I knew guys, and I applauded them, that did all of that and then worked nights at a factory. It's like, when did you sleep, guy? When did you sleep? Man, I sleep from 5 to 7. In the morning? 2 hours? Yeah, I'm on 2 hours every day. Do you ever sleep? Sundays.
Dang. But sometimes I guess for stuff like that, you just gotta do what you gotta do, unfortunately.
That's it. And also, babe, you got to take into consideration the spring practices, the summer practices, the winter practices. This isn't just a fall sport. It's all year round, just like every sport is.
Well, yeah, you have to make sure you stay in shape all year round until you start playing the real games.
That's it. And that's every team. Mm-hmm. Every team. We'd see the girls in the volleyball in the gym. They'd be in there training. Mm-hmm. Their season is in the fall, just like ours. Guess when they were training? spring, winter, it didn't matter. They were part of that team. They're there. They're a sisterhood, the same way that we're a brotherhood. We saw the soccer team running around out there, the track and field team out there running around. It's the fall. Their spring. Their season isn't in the fall, but they're running around the track. So you see what I mean, guys? That's what I'm talking about. So Andrew, thank you for sharing that. So let's see here. Marcus says, I get it, but I have to say Reggie Bush was completely worth all the money he got in that paper bag. Babe, Reggie Bush was a player who was, I'll show it to you. He was, when we were in high school, amazing athlete. One of the greatest athletes I think I've ever seen. Human joystick. This guy was like a video game. How fast he was, how quick he was. Hurdling players. One of the greatest athletes I've ever seen. Well, remember that trophy we were talking about a couple days ago? That Smith won? Mm-hmm. Devontae Smith from Alabama, the Heisman. Remember I told you I struck the pose? The best college athlete in college that year? I mean, for that year? Reggie Bush won that same title back in 2006, I believe, when USC lost the dang national championship to Texas. But so many years later, when he was in the NFL, they discovered that he was given illegal benefits at USC, so they couldn't do anything to him. But you know what they did? What? They took his Heisman Trophy away from him.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Uh-huh.
I stupid. I mean, of course, don't get me wrong. I mean, they did give him illegal benefits. They paid him to go to USC. But unfortunately, and Reggie, you're the man. You're awesome. But unfortunately, it's crap like that gets everybody in trouble.
Yep, unfortunately.
So, let's see here. Terrence says, as a matter of fact, I had to describe the rule of college athletes not getting paid or getting any support in four words. Would be this. Oh, I see another loser. Of course, that's from the Wait a Minute show, man. Big shout out to, of course, Jelani JB Bodie. But Andrew says here, also, too, college athletes' names are being used in commercials, video games, jerseys, with the players' names, etc., and the colleges get the money, not the players. How you like that?
So they get their royalties instead of the players.
Of course they do.
Of course. See, and that's the sad part, too. Nowadays, it's just all about the money in our pockets. Well, you know, the higher ups, more like. And it's sad that it's just all about the money, when it should be more than just that. And that even makes me even more mad, is that they get their royalties when they should get them, when the students should get that themselves.
How about this? Let me try this on for Saj. Let's try this one for Saj. The video game they stopped making. We talked all about the NCAA video game before the franchise stopped making. Terrell Pryor, a couple years back, when we were still, it was like our early days of college, this man wasn't making no money. So you know what he did? And I get this might be stealing from the school. I mean, I guess that's what it is. I thought they get to keep their jerseys because they make so many of them. He had his jersey, and him and a couple of teammates sold their jerseys for money, and they got suspended.
Of course.
From the NCAA, but then but that was their last games in college. So they contacted the NFL, and the NFL had to suspend them for the first couple of games of their careers in the NFL.
Are you serious? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Basically, you're not getting away from our suspension.
Yeah, no. That is dumb. I really don't like that company.
The NCAA?
Yes. That is not worth remembering their name.
Cecilia does not like the NCAA, everybody. So, Andrew says here, check out GMGOLF. I don't know if it's GM Golf or however. But he said he made a video on how he lost his NCAA eligibility because the trick shot videos on Instagram were becoming popular and being showed on SportsCenter, news, etc. And his YouTube videos started popping off, and he was making small money, and the NCAA took away his eligibility because he was making an income. He had to stop showing his girlfriend as well in the videos because she would lose hers as well, even though she's not making money. Oh my gosh.
I don't get it. Why penalize them? If they want to stop seeing this if they want to stop seeing this reoccur, then pay their athletes a little something. They deserve a little something.
I am in awe.
Otherwise, they would not try to get money somewhere else. Like, open your eyes, you dummies.
I
Unless it just seems like they just like penalizing people and taking their, their careers away or the love of their sport away. They're dream killers.
Yeah, it's like a mean parent that doesn't want to see their kid get ahead. Like, you're gonna be grounded for no reason. I'm gonna beat you because I'm mad at the world. Like, that's kind of what it's like. Like, oh my gosh, like, that's ridiculous. You've got to be kidding me. And his girlfriend wasn't even making any money, but apparently she was a college athlete too. And they said if she was going to be in his videos, they'd get rid of her too.
I just don't understand why the colleges don't even fight for it themselves. Because them too, they should be in trouble in some way because they have to know that some of their players are trying to find money somehow, some way, and they're turning a blind eye. And then once their players get in trouble, they're like, "Oh, we didn't know about it," kind of thing. Like they don't want to stick up for their players, and it's just like the school should get in trouble themselves.
I agree,
but they're more worried about ruining their name.
Of course, because babe, don't we all know that? Oh no, it's okay for everybody else. Oh yeah, whatever, too bad, so sad. But when it comes down to the people, it comes down to the school and their name and their reputation, oh, well, all of those comments from earlier are retracted, and oh, well, I guess we better cover our own behind, and we can't allow that. What the hell is that all about? Or what the heck's that all about? So, Andrew says, I played NAIA too. He played in the NAIA, that's the other sanctioning body, of course, in college. And he says, in university level football, or athletics. He says, like Larry said, maybe one day off, practice at 6 a.m., classes from 8 to 1, practice at 4, study, eat, do homework, sleep, and midnight repeat. Sleep at midnight and repeat.
Dang.
You're on, like, fumes the whole season. It's like, you're like a walking zombie for like, a big part of, like, the entire season. And it's like, you have no room to get a job.
No.
And then they
because this is your full-time job.
That's it. And they forbid you. You can't get a job.
See,
I think that's the rule, but you can't work. They won't let you work because that's your job.
It's like either way, they're screwed.
So it's a catch-22. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. And how sad these poor student athletes. They work so hard to get where they are, but if you don't follow those rules to the T, so sorry, you were a has-been.
It's like they really don't care for the people who don't have the money, and it seems like the people who are well off. And it's not anybody's fault. I mean, it's not like anybody's rubbing that in anybody's face or anything. I'm just saying, it's just like, if you're not well off or if you don't have the money, then it's just like, well, who cares about them in a way? It's like we can't do anything to help them.
All they care about is another trophy in their damn case.
And that's not what it should only be about.
No, and that really irritates me. So I agree. So Terrence is here in the chat room. Richie Sherman even talked about how student athletes have it tough and have little to no time in the world. He hit it on the head. Absolutely. Pantry shelves eventually become a thing. Wow. Yeah, I mean, excuse me. So Andrew says here also, Donald De La Haye, I believe, a.k.a. Destroying's comments, is the same as GM Golf with YouTube. Okay. He says, it also strains an athlete mentality. Absolutely. If you can squeeze time to hang out with your family, friends, I applaud you. I have a tough time squeezing in me time with everything getting thrown in and out of school. And he's just he's, and I'm trying to say he's just a regular, but we know right now, Cecilia, we're this class, I mean, she's struggling, not struggling, but she's, putting a lot of time forth and everything. And, she's got to see me and my masters, and we, help each other out, and we do a lot of, work together, and we really do work hard together. And it's crazy because the amount of time that goes into it, sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, like, we haven't even got a chance to be a couple and go on a date and have fun. It's like, oh my god, right, babe? I mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of time that goes into being a student's ridiculous. So you put a sport on top of that.
Even just being a part-time student, full-time, part-time, it takes a lot of work to be in school.
It sure does, and I agree, Darren. It does strain the athlete's mentality. And Andrew says here in the comments, now GM Golf is at 200 subscribers on YouTube, traveling the country, making golf videos, and playing the best courses in the U.S., and that's his job now. So in the long run, he's living the dream. Wow, all those trick shots videos, and they told him, the NCAA told him that they would freaking cut his scholarship, even his girlfriend's scholarship, if they were making those videos and everything like that, making money. So, I don't know if he got his degree or not. Please let us know, Andrew, if he did graduate or not. But at the end of the day, you know what? He's the winner, and I'm sure if they're still together,
still made it.
They won together. That is impressive. So, at the end of the day, this is how it goes. You can't afford, and I like what Cecilia said earlier about minimum wage, guys. Because if you can afford, all these billions of dollar, freaking $1 million buildings and all these things and athletic facilities and all that, we already know you're not paying your professors.
No.
Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
The universities, and don't get me going on that one. Cecilia's gonna have to put tape over my mouth right now because I'll go on that rant.
Well, that's a different story.
I'll go on that rant forever. But we already know universities that you sure as hell ain't paying your. Sorry, but you sure as heck ain't paying your gosh dang adjunct professors very much money, and you're only keeping maybe 20% of the entire staff there. You're only those the ones who get full-time benefits, and you're paying them good money, and they're on salary. But we already know that the majority of all of your professors out there, universities, are adjunct professors that you're giving $750 freaking dollars to a month. So you know something? Where the hell is the rest of the money going? Where is it going? I would love to know where that money's going.
Into their pocket.
Please tell me where that money is going. Yeah, thanks, man. I think we have a lead here. Yeah, it's going to someone's damn pockets because that's ridiculous. We know sure as hell it ain't going to the professors, okay? Because, we want to sell you on our big, beautiful rock climbing wall in our state-of-the-art gym to come to our school. We sure as heck aren't going to give you the substance of why you actually go to school in the first place to get a gosh damn degree. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're going on to a whole nother rant page.
I'm just getting pissed here because I know.
Yeah, he is. He's turning all red right now.
I'm sorry.
It's kind of funny.
It just irritates me, guys. That's the reason why I got out of teaching. I didn't want to teach anymore. Because I'm going to make peanuts. Really? I got a gosh dang BA and a master's, guys. I don't ever bring that up. I hate that. I'll tell you right now. Cecilia's way smarter than I'll ever be. And I'm proud of that. All of you listening are probably way smarter than me. These pieces of paper on my wall don't mean a damn thing. It just means that I'm qualified for a job. Whoop-de-doo. Cecilia will tell me a million times, and I get it. I am proud of them, and I worked hard for them. But at the end of the day...
You did work hard.
And I appreciate that.
Because if you didn't, then you wouldn't have received them.
And I appreciate it, and thank you for that. But
and you have the knowledge for it, so...
I do my best. Thank you for that. But I guess it irritates me because why do we go to school in the first place? Because... we want to get ahead and better ourselves and do better things. And what do they always tell us since we were little kids? To go to college so we can do what we love.
Mm-hmm. I
want to be a college professor. But, really? After finding out how much money they make and that this is everywhere and that getting in is like, you gotta basically know somebody, or luck out. It's ridiculous, guys. 30, 40 years ago, it was all about the, 80% of full-time professors. Now it's flipped, and it's like 20% of full-time professors. And the rest of them are all adjuncts. Why do universities do this? Because they don't got to give them benefits. They don't got to give them good money.
Because they're all tightwads.
Of course. They're
more money in their pockets.
Of course. And why? And how does that work? Very simple. Let's build a state-of-the-art gym and a rock climbing wall and a parking structure and all these big giant things to attract students. But what about the substance itself? What about the degree?
Instead of building more things to their schools, they should give them to their students who work full-time basically there.
Yeah, exactly.
They obviously deserve it than trying to make their school look more prettier.
Yeah, thank you for that. Because, really? What about the students? What about when you go to class and the adjunct professor is trying to give their all? But, so sorry, they're making $750 a gosh dang month. And they give a lecture for about 30 minutes, and then they're on their phone trying to figure out what the heck they're going to eat for dinner tonight because they don't know what's going on. And really, that's a good education?
Or you see a statue that they just built, and it's just like, wow, my money's going towards a statue.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they plant like a tree or something, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like, I could be receiving that money for, to help me out and support myself in some way.
I completely agree. Yeah.
They don't spend their money very wisely.
No, and once again, it irritates me that the substance just isn't there sometimes. Sometimes you get these full-time professors, and you're like, oh, that's a good class. And then you're like, oh, that class sucked with that teacher. Well, I wonder why that class sucked. Because that teacher probably can't even give their full heart because they're trying to juggle 4 different classes that are all in schools 20 miles apart. They got to drive to every other day, and all these things. And it's and then for making.
Well, I feel like that goes with like high school teachers or even elementary teachers. They don't really get. I mean, I understand those are 2 different pay grades, but I mean, if they think about it too, they would probably like anywhere would probably have a better graduation rate. If they probably paid the teachers a little bit more because it'd be more worth it to work and to teach these students.
I agree.
But then again, I know teachers also know, like, I'm going to become a teacher one day soon, so I understand what I'm getting myself into. And it's just more of the satisfactory of just making an impact on these students' lives. But still, I feel like teachers should get paid more.
Can we give an applause to my beautiful girlfriend? Because she will be educating young minds pretty soon. Very proud of her. 2 classes away. She gets the applause button.
But it should apply to college professors as well. That they deserve a lot more too than just hiring adjuncts.
We're very backwards, and unfortunately. So like I said, guys, we know that money, or ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly. We know that money's going somewhere, and they're building all their big, beautiful things and statues and state-of-the-art gyms and rock climbing walls and all these wonderful little things. But once again, it sure as heck ain't going to the majority of the faculty. Okay, so where is it going? And you're telling me that 44,000 students. Earlier we looked at USC, and they have 44,000 students currently, or apparently right around there. Okay, we Googled it. Then we Googled how many student athletes they have, and that's about 600, they said 678, around there. So you're telling me, and of course you have all the scholarships, 35 for the football team, all these different scholarships for different sports. You're going to spend close to about $30 million on scholarships a year for all these students. But what about the other, so if you subtract, and I think it was like 43,322 or something like that, you have all of those schools, all of those students. You know how much tuition is at $40,000 a pop? It's like over $1 billion, like $1.7 billion, something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not paying your adjunct, if they're not paying the adjuncts, and of course they're building all the buildings and statues and everything, you're telling me these universities, and I know every school's different, but you're telling me these universities can't afford to at least give their student athletes minimum wage, at least throughout the season?
They can. They just choose not to.
I am dumbfounded.
Makes you speechless.
It does. It is ridiculous. So, real quick, the other side is very simple. We're giving these athletes all that money. We got $30 million. Of course,
but they don't even see it.
They don't even see it.
Because it's going towards their tuition and books and all that other stuff.
Absolutely. So they get a full ride. They get a place to live. They get food to eat, sometimes. You think it depends on how your meal swaps or whatever that plan is for the school or for the scholarship. So you get that. And then you get, all those 4 years of school paid for. Great. Awesome. Very thankful. That's a great thing. But necessities and more food and just money to live and, it's just really sad that these student athletes can't even work, and if they receive any type of benefits from anybody, even if they're not full ride, if they're scholarship and they receive any benefits, then it's breaking the law, or at least violating the NCAA. And overall, once again, we get it. It's a full ride. What more do the student athletes want? We're giving them tons of money. That's $30 million of our $1.7 billion, which that's a lot. But I'm just saying it's ridiculous because at the same exact time, I get where they're coming from, where they don't want to pay, but you can definitely afford to pay all of your athletes and still have tons of money. So, closing statement for this bid?
Just basically, they need to pay their players.
Their athletes.
Their athletes. There you go, my bad. But yeah, they need to pay, oh my goodness, pay their athletes. They are worth it. They make a name, they help make a name for the school. and for the NC, whatever their name is. So yeah, they're worth it, and they should pay them.
I couldn't agree more. And I am just so frustrated that sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. And it's very, very, very annoying. So when it all comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't agree more. Pay the college athletes. Real quick, going to the chat room real fast. Taryn says here, the NCAA needs to give some power to its athletes and rethink this whole athletes not getting paid. Have every student-athlete representative vote on it.
Yeah.
And it would go through like that, I would say, but I would definitely agree. Andrew Hagenball says, he didn't, also the young man earlier, GM Golf, he didn't graduate. Wow, that video, he had 10,000 subscribers, continued to make golf videos and trick shots and grew to 200,000 subs in those 2 years, making a living on YouTube now just golfing and having fun.
Oh, see? Look at, he even made it out better.
He's only like 19, Andrew says.
Wow. Good for him.
That is awesome. Then Terrence says, student athletes aren't just forms of entertainment, they're human beings as well.
Exactly. They're not just a number. They're human beings.
Absolutely. That's a great thing to end it on, and I completely agree with that. So, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, good Taryn to get the applause button for that, brother. That absolutely great way to end it. I'm all for it. Pay these student athletes because, my gosh, even if it's just minimum wage, guys.
It's better than nothing.
That's it.
They deserve it.
They deserve it. So with that said, y'all, we're taking ourselves our break. We're taking one tonight because that took a while. That's all good. Sorry about that. But, hey, it was a good discussion. Nice work, man.
Yeah.
So with that said, y'all, we're taking ourselves a quick break. Not done yet, Andrew. We're not done yet. He says, great show, guys. Not done yet. Take ourselves our break, and when we get back, we'll be breaking down the movie we just saw just a little bit ago, and boy, was it a good one when the game stands tall. It is talking football, of course. We'll get a little bit of the championship and talk about Cecilia's thoughts on that and everything. That'll be pretty quick, but I just want to ask you those questions. But yeah, that was fun. But with that said, we're talking when the game stands tall, and that'll be it for about the final half an hour of the show. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in tonight to the Sports Color Perspective right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, right here with Larry B and Cecilia. When we get back, talking college football national championship, NFL divisional round, wildcard weekend / wildcard weekend divisional round, and of course our movie review of the week. Hang tight, y'all. We'll be right back after this.
Motorsports takes many forms, and there's one show on IE Sports Radio that's ready to cover it all.
I sure hope you're talking about you and I, Daryl, because I know the Extra Mile is the best place to go for everything motorsports related.
Yes, it is. From NASCAR to IndyCar to sports cars to everything in between, IE Sports Radio has everything covered for the fastest sport in the world.
Plus, don't forget all of our random shenanigans along the way.
That's right, Caitlin. So for plenty of motorsports coverage and plenty of Caitlinisms, check out The Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio with Daryl Kinsey Jr. and Caitlin Seen, Thursdays at 8 p.m.
Were you listening to a great game on USRN, but then the Wi-Fi crashed in the final seconds? Or do you simply want to listen to the best calls we here at USRN have to offer? Well then, you need to go check out our Audio Boom page. It holds a collection of our best calls that you don't want to miss. How do I get there, you ask? You can download the Audio Boom app and look up Ultimate Sports Radio, or simply go to audiobook.com/Ultimate Sports Radio. And as always, thanks for listening and making USRN one of the most talked about sports networks on Mixler.com.
Lopan, they didn't even want you. Heck, they didn't even want me. But you know what? Right about now, they have no choice. Looking for the real sports talk? Talk that's for us, the people? Look no further. The Wait a Minute Show A prime time sports comedy cocktail that tucks you in at night. Join me and Lopan Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 2livestewsradio.com and Saturday 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Wait a Minute Show.com. Sounds like a plan to me. Ain't that right, Lopan?
Indeed.
Hey guys, it's Blake Henley, better known as H-Town Blake to some of you. Happy to announce that Bases Loaded is back in full force. We'll be bringing that high heat every Tuesday night here on IE Sports Radio. So come home, get ready, dig into that batter's box, and see if you can chase that high heat, baby. So we'll be coming to you live with all the stats, all the rundowns, all the division rivalries, and every team that's going to make the playoff push to get to that one and only October and get to the pinnacle of what baseball is to hoist that Commissioner's Trophy when it's all said and done.
Welcome back to the Sports Couple Perspective right here on IE Sports Radio, your directory for all that is sports. I know kind of a shorter break, we let a lot of our commercials play, but only a one commercial show tonight, and of course, we have so many shows now and so many drops. My gosh, there's like 24 of these things that I have loaded up on here, so yes. That would take quite some time to get through, but big ups to all our shows. Today we had an Impact Day, awesome day, starting things off with, of course, our very own Andrew Hagenbaum, who's in the chat room right now, talking about some Ohio football, of course, Ohio State football, of course, all things Ohio sports, with the State of Ohio sports earlier today. Then right before this show, we had the SoCal Supreme Sports Show with Taryn Rodriguez. Great as always. I'm sure I gotta check those out in the podcast form. The same as that way that you can catch this on the podcast form. If you're just tuning in, make sure to catch the first hour of this show on the show reel on Spreaker.com. Of course, all places you can find podcasts on IESportsRadio.com as well. Show us some love, y'all. We are glad to give it right on back. And there you have it. So, with that said, this lovely young lady next to me got to watch your very first football game this last past week.
Well, I mean, I've seen football, but this is different, though.
Glad to have her a part of this, because it was a good one. We watched the College Football National Championship game. Ladies and gentlemen, as plain as day, sorry Andrew, but Alabama just beat down Ohio State. It was a beatdown from basically start to finish. Ohio State did fight in this game. They did put up a fight. It was nice, but unfortunately for them, it didn't turn out the way they would have wanted it to. Alabama stomped on the gas despite losing Devontae Smith. It was a beatdown. I mean, it was just ugly. It wasn't. It turned into just kind of a slobber knocker, and Alabama just ran away with it. Final score 52-24, I think, was the final score. But anyway, yeah, sorry, Taryn. He says, you mean a USC football game wasn't her first college football game? Dang it, man, I'm sorry. I know. We'll walk some USC next year. She's a fan. She'll be a USC fan. So he says, yeah, I will not pick against Nick Saban again. I know. I picked Ohio State, too. I thought that would be cool, but no, didn't work. Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide roll, and boy, did they roll right over Ohio State. So, babe, your thoughts on this championship game on Monday night?
It was good. I actually liked it, and just understanding the sport a little bit more, I think made me see it in a whole new way.
I'm glad. It was fun. I literally had to stand in front of the TV, and I felt like a professor, y'all. I was breaking down every position by the series.
Yeah.
And I was explaining what the Hogs do up front. I was explaining the tight ends and the receivers and what the running back does, what the quarterback does. Then we went to defense after the half. And we got to the defensive line right before half. And then we went into the defense, the linebackers, and the secondary. And then she pretty much got it. But babe, I mean, how you feeling now that you kind of get the game a little more?
I think I kind of get the gist of it all. I don't think I understand it, but not fully. I think I would have to watch more and probably bug you with more questions on how the whole game works, but I think I got the basics of it all.
Well, babe, you know me well, and you know I love to be bugged with those questions about football, so you can give them to me all you want to. I'm loving it. So, good game. Overall, babe, we watched the whole game from start to finish. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the dominating?
I think that's the first time I've ever done that, is watch a football game from beginning to end.
Well, what were your thoughts? And I'm glad that we watched it together, but what were your thoughts on Alabama's performance?
On whose performance?
Alabama's.
I thought theirs were good. I mean, they fought hard, or played hard, I mean.
She's being nice. They beat the crap out of Ohio State, let's just be real.
Yeah, but I mean, still, they both played well.
They did, but Alabama dominated, y'all.
Yeah.
She's being nice. It was pretty ugly, but overall, it just a team that was struck by COVID. They lost so many.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, they lost so many players to COVID this year. They lost a couple players during the game. Their star running back gets hurt in the first freaking couple of plays or first couple series. It was just rough. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, how about that Alabama Crimson Tide? They will have done it. They win. They win their 18th national championship in program history. And they're 6 in the last 11 years. My goodness.
Nice.
Roll Tide, roll. Right? I mean, that is incredible. So, great job to them. And then this past weekend, babe, I know we're going to get a chance to watch NFL football, of course, and we may get a chance to maybe see a game this weekend. But last weekend, wild card weekend, happened very simple. Bills over the Colts. Bills won their first freaking playoff game in over 18 years, or however long it was, defeating the Colts 27-14. The Rams over the Seahawks, and that pretty nice battle, 30-20. Buccaneers over Washington, 31-23, and then on to Sunday's games where the Ravens shocked the Titans, 20-13 on the road. The Saints on the first ever game on Nickelodeon ever played. That was pretty crazy. Yes, baby, I will tell you all about that in a little bit. First ever game on Nickelodeon. They had slime and everything. It was crazy.
Oh, interesting.
Saints defeated the Bears 21-9, and the Browns. Andrew's a happy man, even though it's 11-11 over there right now. Make a wish, Andrew, as Cecilia would tell me when 11-11 hits. But the Browns will knock off the Steelers 48-37. They were leading that game 28-0 at the half. The Steelers, how about this, babe? The Steelers went 11-0 to start the season, and they finished the season at 1-5. How about that?
Wow.
They went 11-0, dominating, and out of nowhere, they lose almost every game in the last five games, and then the playoffs, they lost in the first round.
Dang.
How
That's
about
crazy.
That? Crazy, right? What a tale of two halves of the season, right? So, I think the Steelers actually lost every game. I want to take a look here on the ESPN Scores Center app, courtesy of where I'm getting my scores from. Yeah, they freaking fell off. Yeah, they lost. They won every game. They lost every game. They went on a freaking basically a 3-game skid, and yeah, they lost after going 11-1, 3-game skid. So yeah, it was, I think, in those last 4 games of the season. Yeah, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they went 1-4 in their last 4 games, and then they would lose to the dang same team they lost to just a week before in week 17. So incredible. And yeah, so there you have it. So tomorrow, starting things off in the divisional round, we got those Los Angeles Rams head on over to Lambeau to take on the Green Bay Packers. The Ravens will take on the Buffalo Bills. The Browns will take on the Chiefs on Sunday, and also on Sunday, the Buccaneers taking on the Saints. We have 8 teams. 2 of these 8 teams are going to the Super Bowl, and one of them will be crowned Super Bowl champion coming up on February 7th. So, Cecilia and I will be watching some football coming up. We're definitely going to be watching Super Bowl together. So she'll be telling you all about that. She's overjoyed, everybody. Just overjoyed. So, with that said, y'all, we'll have some primetime face-offs coming up this weekend. Times to be announced. But, yeah, so we'll have some fun with that coming up. But, with that said, y'all, time to get into our movie review from this week. And that, of course, is we're staying in football because Cecilia wants to stay in football. She's trying to learn the game, and I'm very proud of her. We watched When the Game Stands Tall. Last week, keep in mind, we watched Friday Night Lights. Great movie about a very interesting team from the Permian Panthers, of course, from Odessa, Texas. Very good team. Unfortunately, the team that went all the way to the end faced a lot of adversity, and they lost it all in the final game. But they fought hard and they faced adversity, and even though they lost, they went out with a bang. They went out with a bang, and they went out with like a uplift. The very next season, they went and won state. Unfortunately for those seniors, they didn't get a chance, but the juniors and sophomores and freshmen sure did. But this time, another high school. Years later, as a matter of fact, just a few years after that game, after that, if we're talking real time, that was the 88 season. Well, just a few years after, in the early 90s, a team up north in California by the name of De La Salle would go 10 years undefeated, 151 games. And this was the story of the 2004 season, where nobody wanted to play them anymore.
No.
They were all getting mad and flustered and talking crap on how they don't want to play De La Salle no more. So De La Salle says, screw it, we'll schedule teams out of state. And they had their first game in Washington State, where they lost to Bellevue. I don't know if that's the actual name of the school, but they lost. The streak was over. The team was crushed. Then they played another team. I forgot, Clayton Valley, but once again, I don't know if these schools are disguised the actual names or whatever. But they lost 2. So they went from 151 games to 2 straight losses. Then, on the third game of the season, they fly on down here to Southern California to take on the mighty Long Beach Poly. And in a game with treacherous heat, field temperature going from 95 over to 100 degrees in that game, this little team with a bunch of two-way players went heads up with the Giant, who was the number 1 team in the nation, by the way, during that time, the Long Beach State Jackrabbits, and they freaking beat them. A team who, lots of players were going both ways on De La Salle, and Long Beach Poly were bigger, tougher, and they had a 100-player roster. And they managed to pull it off and win it. Then they go into league. They win out the next 7 games. They go to the playoffs. They win. Then they go into state. They pulled it off. They earned another state title. But there were so many little things in this movie that were also like things to take away. Of course, Coach Bob Ladouceur, the stress just really, messing him up, giving him a heart attack, basically, giving him a heart attack in the movie.
Yeah, it was a heart attack.
We had Coach Ladouceur being so concerned with football that he forgot to even spend time with his family and his son. When he was even, his son was upset because that was his first time being able to be coached by his dad, and he even said it, when I needed a dad, you weren't there. And now
he said, when I needed a dad, I got a coach, and when I need a coach, I get a lame dad.
A lame dad. So we had that happening. We had a father, 2 weeks in a row. Every football movie's got to have it, apparently, right, babe? A father who was just living through their son. Just ridiculous. That poor kid, Ryan. That's his last name, by the way, Ryan. But crazy, right?
I thought that was his first name. I bet.
And unfortunately, that happened. A young man who was killed earlier in the movie, going to pick up one of his friends. A young man who was so confused and so torn down in his life, thinking that he was cursed and so many bad things were happening to him. But at the end of it all came together. Coach Ladouceur comes to coach during that season. His assistant, I forget his name, but he did a great job holding that team together. And at the end of the day, it all spells out that word, babe, team. And it's incredible because even that last drive of the game when they were going to win state, Ryan taking a knee, talking about, I want my last play to be a team thing. And Coach Ladouceur just looks at him with a smile, like saying, yeah, that's right. That's what I want you to be. It's not about me. It's about the team. It's about us. So we'll get into that in a little bit more. But, babe, I want every thought of all of those things, the whole movie. Give us your review and what you thought about it.
I really liked this movie. Again, it's inspired by a true story. So I feel like those kind of movies are worth the watch because it has more meaning. But just the coach himself and just the way that he worked with his team, and it was really inspiring. It was really good. He made it more about working together as a team. and trying not to make it about like the fame and the name and everything like that. It was more about being humble and enjoying that very moment. Because I mean, he didn't seem upset when I'm pretty sure he probably was a little bit, but they even said, who cares about the streak? It's more about how you're performing out there. It's what you're doing to get to where you need to be. But I really liked it, and I feel like that statement really does apply to this movie when, how does it go? Teamwork makes the dream work. There you go. Teamwork makes the dream work. In this movie, I think that was that should have been said somewhere in there, because it's true. I mean, when you work together in something, it really helps to be there for your partner in a team or just in life in general. I really loved this movie.
I'm glad you did, because I saw it for the first time early last year, like I said, right before I met you, and I'm glad that we were able to watch it together tonight. One of the most touching scenes is after they go 0-2, after losing that streak, they go 0-2, and Coach takes them to a VA rehab center where these brave women and men are unfortunately damaged. They're maimed from combat. Mm-hmm. There's people with no arms in there, with prosthetic legs, and people who are paralyzed from the neck down, and just seeing them, how they fight every day, knowing that they may not be ever be the same, at least in this life. Well, at least here on Earth. In heaven, they'll be restored for sure. We know that. All of us will, no matter what. But I'll tell you, seeing them, I think, was a big spark to really be like, you know what? We need to stop whining about those 2 losses and carry on, because things could be a lot worse. And look at that. Even for those who it is a lot worse for, they're fighting every day because they know that they're still alive.
Yeah, I think it opened their eyes to a whole new perspective in the world, basically, and in the football world. So
absolutely, because winning,
and like one of them said, he said, no one, I don't know, this is not word for word, but basically, like, no one really cares. Not that they don't care, but I forgot how he put it, but it was powerful in a way that, like, nobody cares, like, on how you fight or something for your country, but the only thing that really matters is that your brother next to you or your sister next to you, who, you know, they're your partner, they're the ones who are going to help you get through this war kind of thing. They're the ones that you need to rely on and trust to get you through. Completely agree.
And that was the man who had no arm and he was torn up. Mm-hmm. He said that it doesn't matter. He says a country boy from Arkansas was the one who pulled me out when I guess he was hit by an IUD, or I don't know what happened, but something blew up and he was pretty torn up. But he says a country boy from Arkansas pulled me out. He says it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. He says it doesn't matter who you are. He says we're all one out there. He says, and if they can put me back together, I'll still go back over there and fight.
I think he even said team too.
Yeah, he said
your team.
Mm-hmm. He said it's all about the person next to you.
And I think they needed that. I mean, obviously they did. It opened their eyes to be like, you know what, it's not just about me, or it's not just about that other person, but it's about all of us, because we're all working to get to, you know, that championship, and we need to work together to get there.
Completely agree, man.
And trust one another.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I really liked it.
It was. And okay, now let's get to the funny part here. So last week we had a dad living through his son in Friday Night Lights, where he was over there beating him down in front of his girlfriend, taping his hands to a football, embarrassing him in practice, throwing him down in practice in Friday Night Lights. And this week, it was yet another one of those dads, and this guy...
Well, did he play football? His dad?
Ray,
whatever his name is.
Ryan, this one. Ryan. I think he did. I have no idea. But he was doing the same thing. Pushing his son, pulling him, telling him, as long as you live in my house and eat my food, you'll do what I say. Mm-hmm. Basically, you know, but he always told him in the car that one time how, you know, like, this is your salesman, Dad. Like, I'm basically one of your trophies, mm-hmm. in a sense. Like, you know, that you can show off to everybody, like everything you've been showing off that you've earned since the 7th grade. And he's trying to live through his son. And then, of course, at the end, taking the knee. Mm-hmm. They were moving down the field. They were moving the ball, and Ryan decides, you know what, I'm not going to punch this in. Because if he did, he would have had the record. Most touchdowns, I believe, in California history in a season. Or I don't know if it was state or the country.
It was
I don't
a
know.
state.
It was a state.
Yeah.
So he would have had the most touchdowns ever in history of the state of California. And he's, he was like, I'm not doing that. I want my last play here to be about all of us.
Yeah.
And that's the moment where he grew into a man.
I think that's where they finally understood, too, where the coach was coming from. By humbling themselves and not trying to be show-offy. That the game means more than just getting a title and making a name for yourself.
And being composed. Because remember, too, babe, what he told him in the Long Beach Poly game. Long Beach Poly scored early, and they were beating him down out there, and they came out mean and tough. But what happens? Ryan breaks one. He gets down the sideline. He runs somebody over and gets into the end zone. And what happens? He somersaults into the end zone.
Uh-huh.
And the first thing Coach Laddister tells him when he gets to the sideline is, he doesn't say congratulations or anything. Looks at him with a straight face, and he says, hey, great effort out there. He says, but we don't somersault into the end zone. If you do that again, you're going to be sitting on the bench. To me, that is somebody who's trying to make men. He's trying to make good men. He's trying to make good future people to the world.
Good, humble men.
That's it. And that's the way it should be. In any sport. I don't care who you're coaching. Young ladies or young men, you need to install those morals of, you know what, hey, though we love this game, and it all depends on the sincerity level you take it to, but at the end of the day, it truly is just a game. I love what the other coach told them when they lost to Bellevue in the very first game. Remember that? How he said, everyone's going to always ask you, this question's going to follow you forever, what happened? He says, and what you're going to say is, we lost because Bellevue was a better team in a high school football game, because that's literally all it is. That's all it was. Who cares about that?
It's just football.
That's it. 10-year streak, 150 games, and you're the first team to lose in 10 years from that school. So that makes you a horrible person and you're a terrible athlete?
No.
So I just think that those coaches, man, they did retire. Coach Laddister, I forgot the other coach's name, but and I gotta get his name right now. I keep on saying the other coach, but Coach Laddister finally did retire in 2012, guys. And, I mean, it was just, his run there, I'm sure, was great. And also, babe, I want you to elaborate a little bit on what you talked about earlier, because, of course, you took notice to when he was talking about, like, he was throwing the college offers away in the trash, and his wife was like, this could be changing for all of us, and this, and that. Go ahead and tell us why. He even went on an interview. Remember, he went on an interview to Stanford?
He did.
Interview to Stanford University up there. But tell the listeners what you said to me when you were saying, you know what, there's a reason why he didn't want to coach college.
I can't quite remember what I said, but I think I just basically said that, like, he knew that in the college world, it's more than just the game itself. It's more about making a name and making sure that the college has a good repertoire or whatever. But and yeah, I mean, it's just all about the fame and lights and all that other stuff. Whereas I think he said in the movie, he can't make an impact on the college students, whereas he can get them at a young age where they're not fully set in their ways yet, and he can make a good and a great impact on the high school students. And that's where he stayed happy. And I really like that he didn't care for the glitz and glamour, basically, of the college world. I'm not saying anything bad about them. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's just too different. Whereas, he made sure that, or hope that he made an impact on these guys' lives, and that they'll take it with them if they were to play in college and maybe even move on to the NFL, and, that they'll stay humble and, make sure that that they still keep it fun, but also serious at the same time. And I think that's why, and that's what I really like too, is that he just wanted to be an impact. I think that's the whole teacher perspective too on him, because he was a teacher as well.
That's right.
And I think he just liked how he made a good impact on them. It's a good satisfaction, basically, that he got.
I agree. I agree. Good job, babe. I think that was wonderful. Great way of breaking it down. I think that's a great way to end it. Because, I mean, honestly, that's exactly what it was. He wanted to make the best impact for these young men. I forgot what verse it was, so I'm not going to try and remember the verse, but it was how he told the young man's father, Ryan's father, like, you should check out what he wrote in my class about Matthew, whichever verse it was. But, it was about being exalted, and the father just, like, it went over his head. Like,
I think it was 3:19, Matthew 3:19, but I'm not quite sure.
It was just ridiculous, because that father, it's like, dude, to think you sent him to a Christian school, you know what I mean? Like, you sent him to that school, like, what did you really want out of it? I'm not trying to say that the father, wasn't a believer or didn't love God, but I'm just saying that you got so caught up in winning, that it's like, man, like, you need to calm it down, because he just really, really, really did something that was amazing, apparently, in that class, and the father just had other ideas. He was all about that trophy. All about that rushing title or the touchdown title, and it was ridiculous. So when it comes down to it, y'all, I am just really happy that my babe here loved the movie. I thought it was a good one. So last week she gave Friday Night Lights an A. Tonight, I'm gonna let her say it. But babe, you gave Friday Night Lights an A, and you liked When the Game Stands Tall way more than Friday Night Lights. So
yeah.
What's the grade you're giving When the Game Stands Tall?
I'm giving this an A+.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Where's that button at? Yes, I am totally with it. A+. Why is that, babe?
It was more heartfelt, and it was just good. I liked the storyline of it all, and I really liked that coach. He gave the game more meaning, and he made sure that these boys will stay humble and just stay true to themselves and not let the glitz and glamour basically get to them.
And that's a great way to put it. The other coach was Coach Eidson, guys. Terry
He was also
Eidson.
really good, too. I really liked him, too.
Yeah, they were a great team together. And
yeah, they were.
They remained good friends, apparently. I saw it on Wikipedia.
Oh, that's good.
They remained good friends, and they coached for another 7 years, I think, together. But quick comments here in the chat room. Terrence says, the only bad thing about the Bears-Saints game on Nickelodeon was that someone dropped the F-bomb on air, and they did. On the Kids Network, you heard the background, oh, F! Like, it was so funny. Like, in the background, I'll play the scene. Because you see Nickelodeon across the screen, and you hear someone say that in the background. Sorry, that was funny. Well, it's a football game. That was from, I might have been from the audience, I don't know, from the stands, but that might have been from the field, I'm just saying. I mean, emotions do run high out there. So, Terrence says here, the Steelers should have lost to the Colts in Week 16, but the refs bailed them out. Disgusting. Oh, boy. Terrence says, De La Salle, NorCal's high school football juggernaut, and they certainly are, and they've been for many years, and they're still a dominant team to this day. Terrence also says, imagine being in the same league as De La Salle. Only 2 words to describe that. Just forfeit. Because De La Salle was eating everybody for breakfast over there. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing like we see down here in Southern California, like Centennial or Vista Marietta, or even stronger schools than them, the mighty Mater Dei, where Taryn lives out there, or of course the reigning state champions right now, St. John Bosco. So it's like, those are dominant schools. But also Taryn says there is no I-in team, but there is an I-in pizza, and everyone knows a good pizza is a great thing. And I just got to be real, guys. Taryn loves it. Taryn knows when I bring up pizza in these chat rooms. I always like to bring up pizza. My girl here knows I love me some pizza, and I can't wait for her to try Chicago Pasta House in a couple of weeks here. I'm 18 days out for my birthday, so looking forward to introducing her to that pizza.
Yeah, it looks pretty big.
Deep dish. Yummy. So, should be pretty good there. But all right, babe, well, final thoughts or comments on When the Game Stands Tall?
Well, yeah, it's good. Worth the watch. I would definitely recommend it. Highly recommend it. It's really good. Very, very good.
I completely agree. Very heartfelt show. Everything that
Yeah.
Cecilia said, I guess.
And like I said, since it's inspired by a true story, makes it even better.
Absolutely. Well, so was Friday Night Lights.
No, I know. That's even better,
But,
too.
yeah.
I mean, I like those kind of movies, though, where they're inspired or based on a true story.
Well, there we go. So next week, I agree, and I think I second all of those things. I was gonna say, I was thinking like, what am I gonna say? I was like, okay, now not one up. That's what I'm looking for. But I second everything that Celia was saying. I'm not gonna one up. How could I one up her? She's freaking amazing over here at what I'm doing. She's making me. I'm telling y'all, she took the show, man. I'm the co-host. She's the host here, y'all. Amazing job as always, of it. But next week, of course, man. Of course. Next week, we'll be coming back with another football movie. Because Cecilia has opted to just go football for at least the first month or so. And I think, Ben, how about this?
What?
Super Bowl. So we saw the College National Championship. That was last Monday. Now we have 1, 2, 3 more shows until Super Bowl Sunday coming up on the 7th. So then our show on the 5th will be probably a Super Bowl show. On the 5th. And then the week after that, what do you think? So we'll have football movies next week, the week after, and more than likely the week after that. Super Bowl Sunday is on the 7th. What do you think about the show on February 12th? You want to switch it up and go a different direction? Or do you want to have one more football movie on the 12th and end it, and then go on to another sport? What do you think? 3 more football movies or 4 more to review?
I don't know.
I put her on the spot, y'all. She can't stand that. I'm sorry. So, we'll discuss all those things.
When it comes to that time, we will
We'll discuss
reconsider.
We will reconsider. But coming up, y'all, well, that's going to do it for the day. So, man, thank you to everybody who listened for the last couple of hours. You've been all over IE Sports Radio. We appreciate you listening to earlier Mr. Andrew Hagenbaugh and the State of Ohio Sports, and, of course, Mr. Taryn Rodriguez with the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. And we are just concluding our show right now, or we are just concluding our show here, the Sports Couple Perspective, with the lovely Cecilia and me, your boy Larry B. Well, with that said, babe, we talked about athletes tonight and thinking, my final conclusion, they should be getting paid.
Yes.
We talked about the national championship, your very first game you've watched from start to finish, and I explained everything I could to you. We talked a little bit about the NFL playoffs, which we haven't even discussed that really. And then, of course, we talked about our movie review for this week, When the Game Stands Tall. You're 2 podcasts in, my love. Mm-hmm. So, any last thoughts, comments, concerns, or anything about tonight's show?
No.
Any of our topics?
No.
Alrighty, well, Taryn says, great show, Larry and Cecilia. It's only the 2nd episode, but you two never disappoint.
Thank you, Taryn. I appreciate that.
We thank you, Taryn. Thank you to Marcus, of course, Taryn, and Andrew for tuning in tonight, and to everybody else who listened. We appreciate y'all, and that is going to do it. And by the way, Taryn, this is for you, buddy. Next week, we promise, we'll have ourselves a new track. With that said, cue the music, because we're out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a good one. It's been a fun one. You can catch us, of course, on everywhere podcasts are found. Check us out on YouTube at IE Sports Radio. Give us a like on Facebook. We certainly like that at IE Sports Radio. Ask to join our sports group, the Hidden Gems Sports Shows. I forgot what we called it, but great stuff here. Of course, show us some love. Catch us on Instagram. Give us a follow at IE Sports Radio on Instagram and on Twitter at IE Sports Radio. Also, you can catch us on LinkedIn at IE Sports Radio as well. Show us some love. You can follow me at the THEE_LB53. Babe, any closing statements while we're on out here tonight?
Thank you for tuning in. You guys all be safe and take care and
Please stay healthy, y'all. With that said, we will see y'all next week. Until then, take care, and as always, God bless.